a very good evening to you, Warren. Congratulations on the win this evening. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we properly get underway. Could you just talk us through Luke Cowan-Dickie had a bit of strapping onto his thigh. Is he okay?
Yeah, no, he's fine. Yep.
And also, is there any concerns at all about Alan Wynne-Jones' shoulder as he came off?
No, he's fine.
Okay. So who impressed you this evening?
Oh, there's a number of players I thought, in fairness to the Stormers, they came out and really had a real go at us in that first 20-odd minutes. And, we had to weather a storm, and that's kind of what you expect on a Lions tour, because, it's an opportunity for those players to give 100%, and they put us under a bit of pressure. Pleased that we got back into it. So, look, there was some really good performances. I thought Luke was good. Second rows played well. Some good stuff from the back row, obviously, with Marcus Smith as first game. The longer the game went on, the better he looked and more comfortable out there. And Duan was strong on the wing too. So look, there are a number of players were good, and then I was really pleased with the bench too, how the impact that they had coming off and kept the pressure on and kept the momentum, and we scored some lovely tries, particularly in that second half.
When it comes to Marcus Smith, you mentioning him there and him coming in so late and being so young, does he have a realistic shot of being in contention next weekend?
Those are conversations we haven't had, but having a look through the game again and seeing him, I thought he looked good out there, and he's some lovely touches. He kicked well, kicked for goal well. I thought he defended well, So for a guy who's really only had one training session, I thought it was pretty good, and been here for 5 days. So look, he'll be part of the discussion. There's no doubt about that. So he's like everyone. I mean, a lot of people put their hands up tonight, and there was some pleasing performances on Wednesday too.
And lastly from me, which areas of your 15 for those tests is going to cause you the most problems when it comes to selection next weekend?
Yeah, I'm only probably repeating what everyone else is saying in terms of there's going to be some tight calls, and with regards to the back three and the makeup of the back three, the loose forwards and how that mix is going to look as well. So they're probably the tightest calls that we've got to make, and trying to get the balance right in those positions. But we'll go through the process of making sure that we go through everyone and look at the starting 15, and also it's important that we consider the impact that the bench will have as well, and having the right players to come on and continue with momentum, or make sure they come on and can add something that we might need for next week.
Thanks, Warren.
Warren, that's the end of the warm-up games. Are you happy with where you're at? Are you where you expected to be and where you wanted to be? And how much clarity do you have over your test team at the moment?
Look, I've started to get some names in my head and thinking about combinations. So, they're probably getting a lot closer. And like I said, we'll sit down and have a look at the game and talk to the medics as well about all the players from a fitness perspective. Even though I think we're pretty good, and then we'll start thinking about getting those right combinations together. So look, I'm not. That's sort of the next 48 hours, 72 hours, when we'll go through that process. So it'll be some robust debate, I would presume.
And just on Alan Wynne-Jones' comeback, how were you happy with that? Did he do everything you asked of him? And did you have a chat after the match? Did you have a word with him after the match?
Yeah, I thought, look, he put a few shots on and defended well. He had a couple of touches there. So, the big thing for him was to get through that period, and then to see how he was afterwards. And I haven't really had a chat to him about, he wasn't out there for a long time, just how the lungs were. I know how hard he's worked over the last year or so. He was desperate to make the Lions. Felt in 2017 he probably wasn't at his best, and has really been exceptional in the way he's prepared for this tour. And, it was a shame that he picked up that injury, but it's great to have him back. And, we'll have that discussion about, is there a role for him, either as a starter or a bench player or not involved next week. So, we've got some options, and it was a great game for us. I think it's been a brilliant week for us because we got exactly what we wanted in terms of Wednesday, knowing what's coming next week. I don't think if we'd had that game, or if we'd had the A team that they put out today against the Bulls, then we possibly wouldn't have been tested like we were on Wednesday. So, I think from that point of view, the preparation for next week, gives us an insight of what to expect, and I think it will definitely help our preparation going into the first test.
And have you unmasked any secrets about Alan Wynn's recovery yet? Is there anything he did that surprised you? Anything unusual?
No. I thought he was good. So it wasn't anything that surprised me about him. He's a competitor. He loves playing for the Lions, and he was desperate to get back. So it's kind of to me, it shows how much it means to the players from those 4 home nations to play for the Lions and be desperate to go on a tour and hopefully be successful. So that's a huge positive. And the boys were pretty happy in the change rooms afterwards, and we presented Marcus with his cap and sang a couple of songs, which was good, and just shows that the spirit in the camp is pretty good. The guys have got on brilliantly so far, and we know we've got a big week ahead of us building to that first test.
Hi Warren, can I check, has a decision been reached on who's going to be tour captain next week?
Who's going to be tour captain next week? Well, that'll depend on the side that we name. Oh, you mean in terms of, Alan Wynn's come back into that role, so Connor's comfortable, and look, he stepped in to do it, and Alan Wynn was named as tour captain before, so it's brilliant that he's come back, and Connor, he's the first to admit that he was more than comfortable for Alan Wynn to come back, and so that's it's a measure of him as a person as well as anything. He wasn't prepared to give up his bedroom suite though, because I think he got the captain's bedroom suite. So, but he's been it was easy in terms of that, and we'll see how the preparation goes next week, and if Alan Wynn's involved or whatever, we'll look at, and if he's not involved, then someone else. We'll look at whoever potentially leads the team.
And can I ask how different the test 15 you think will happen next week will be to the one you probably had in your head at the start of the tour? I kind of don't go in with preconceived ideas. I think for me I let the media do that, and the other rugby experts. They have all their own opinions, and they're all very, very different from each other. So, which is great, and it's I don't have any issues with that. So, I try not to go in there with thoughts about players about this is potentially a test side. I just kind of like that to develop, and the players to have that opportunity, and then to put the hand up and pick it late. And sometimes it's about looking at their games and performances, looking at their numbers and the stats, and then or having a gut feel about certain players and certain combinations. So and that process will really take place, even though I've started to think about it, but really fine-tuning that over the next couple of days and dig it into what we think the test team is going to be.
Hey Warren, congrats on the win. Can I just ask you about the scrum half situation? How much has Ali Price put his hand up there? Because a lot of people obviously had Connor nailed on for the starting spot.
Yeah, Ali's done well, and Gareth probably from his own point of view didn't play as well as he would have liked last week. I thought he was good coming off the bench. We had a few box kicks that probably went a little bit too far, and we wanted to compete a little bit more. So that's an area we need to tidy up. But he's looked sharp, and when he started to run a little bit, he put them under a bit of pressure. Particularly from sort of third and fourth phase, and a nice break, and picked up some runners as well. And so he's been he's been excellent. So I've been really pleased with his performance.
Yeah, we saw Robbie Henshaw come off in 58th minute. Was that just to manage his minutes? And what did you make of his return?
We'd planned to only give Robbie that amount of time. We didn't want him to go the full 80, so we wanted to have him hit out. I think it was obvious that he needed to run. And again, there was a couple of things in his game that he'll look at and think, and given his experience and what he's able to do, I think he'll be better for that. If he gets that opportunity next week. So he definitely needed the game. He was tidy without being brilliant, but I was pleased with the way as a team keeping them trialless and we defended it exceptionally well. And so he was a big part of that and working in in terms of organising that midfield defence and our short side as well.
Cheers. Enjoy the week.
Thank you.
Warren Gatland, part of the questions already been asked when you spoke about what you got out of the earlier matches. But as a follow-up to that, what aspects of your game are you going to be focusing on most this week, or do you think needs most attention this week building up to the first test?
Sorry, I didn't.
What areas of the game need most attention this week?
Well, I think we're expecting a lot of runners off 9. So we've got to match the Springboks, that physicality coming off 9 and getting some go forward. So that's one area that we've got to work on, and just how much they are prepared to kick the ball. So whether that's Faf or if it's Mornay Stain or Andre Pollard or whoever at 10, we expect a lot of kicking in the game. And so that's kind of with a lot of teams you might be 20 odd kicks in a game, and when you play this with the Springboks it goes up to 40 odd. So that's an area we need to do a lot of work this week in terms of our aerial game and a kick chase and getting back and supporting players and being prepared to stay in that arm wrestle, because we expect a lot of kicks.
And defence, how important is that going to be?
Sorry, what's that?
Defence?
Oh yeah, I think the thing with our defence, I think we've kept improving. One of the things, again, we didn't concede a try. We haven't conceded a pick and go try on this tour yet, and that's to me has been a pleasing thing. It's one of the strengths of South African rugby. When they get sort of 5 yards out from the line, they tend to, whether that's with a maul or whether that's with their pick and go, they tend to convert on a number of occasions, and we haven't conceded a try in that area yet, but it's an area we'll still keep working really hard on the week and making sure that hopefully we don't concede there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good night.